Nicola Sturgeon's EU dream backed by Guy Verhofstadt's intervention, let them in. Nicola Sturgeon's hopes for an independent Scotland to join the EU were backed by a senior figure in the bloc, as Guy Verhofstadt said he was happy to talk with the First Minister. The SNP led by Ms Sturgeon have pushed for a second independence vote ever since Brexit was voted for in 2016. Support for Scottish secession has grown in the last 12 months, with polls consistently showing more than 50% of Scots want to leave the UK. Ms Sturgeon wants Scotland to join the EU, but faced pushback when former European Commission President José Manuel Barroso said it would be extremely difficult, if not impossible, in 2014. But in more recent years, the EU appears to have warmed to the idea, as shown by MEP Guy Verhofstadt's comments in 2016. He said, if Scotland decides to leave the UK, to be an independent state, and they decide to be part of the EU, I think there is no big obstacle to do that. He added it would be suicide for the EU to refuse entry to people who are sympathetic to the EU's aims. After the UK voted to leave the EU, Mr Verhofstadt wrote on Twitter, it's wrong that Scotland might be taken out of the EU, when it voted to stay. Happy to discuss with Nicola Sturgeon. This sentiment was echoed by Belgian MEP Philippe Lamberts, who said it would be a definite yes for Scotland joining the bloc. On whether an independent Scotland could join the EU, the co-president of the European Greens told Express.co.uk last month, yes, the answer is a definite yes. There would be no obstacle for Scotland joining if the UK is no longer in the EU. And this time independence would be different, because in 2014 Scotland would have left the UK and the EU at once. Now Scotland is leaving a smaller union to join a bigger union. He also had high praise for Ms Sturgeon personally, tipping her as a potential future candidate for European Commission President. He continued, Nicola Sturgeon comes across as a genuine person, politically astute and someone whose word can be trusted, whereas Boris Johnson comes across very quickly as someone you can't trust.